right now we're reacting to 2021 underground rappers. Where are they now? 2021 was a peak year, sort of. Like I remember, bro, it was so much underground rappers I was listening to, and it's crazy because like most of them I can't remember their name. I just remember Sofago, Cash Dami, Yeet, like I don't SSG Kobe, like just so many.
One underground scene. It was really a time you just had to be there to experience it all in its greatness. Which, besides it being COVID at the time and everyone was sick as hell and at home doing God knows what y'all doing y'all free time, a lot of rappers during this time seen this as an opportunity to really blow up. And arguably, this is a time where people say that these artists were the most hungriest. As during COVID, they had a lot of time to really find their sound and really polish it. And especially for the younger rappers during that time, they had no responsibilities, no school. They just had a microphone and FL Studio in that room. It was really just bound to happen as soon as they switched to online schools. Cause we all know that we did not
Oh, I just thought about somebody, Young X Chris. Is that his name or Young Chris? He was tough. Like,
attend any of those online classes. But back on topic, the pandemic basically birthed, a lot of new underground rappers, which a lot of them, really stamped their name in the underground, and some of them kind of fell off. But we're going to talk about all of them and where they are now. Are they still making music? Are they still making the same type of music? Or maybe did they quit altogether? But we're going to study and really find out where these rappers are today in 2025. I also want to see if them now and them in 2021 even come in comparison. But if you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe, and we're going to begin. Now, the first person I'm going to be talking about is going to be Yee. Now, he was a pretty known underground artist at the time, working with people like Isaiah TG, Summers, and
Yeet is one of those rappers you have to like listen to, and he progressively gets better. But like, if you were to just show a random Yeet, they'll be like, "What am I listening to?" It sounds like gears and heavy metal like colliding together. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Autumn. He was heavily in the underground scene and tapped in with a lot of other underground rappers at the time, which I knew a lot of people at the time were saying, oh, he's gonna be a one-hit wonder and that no one will be talking about Yeet in the next 2 years. But as of now, it's pretty clear to see that he's totally surpassed the whole underground scene. And as of now, I'll just totally say that he's a mainstream artist now. And looking down on my list, he's probably one of the most successful underground rappers from that era, which I don't even think anyone even comes close to him that were from this era. But one thing I could say is that his fan base did a total 180. Like, his fan base was mostly, underground fans, and now his fans are mostly like Kim Carson type kids. Like, there's no one that listens to underground music that actually listens to Yeet anymore, which his music is still good, but for me at least, I would always prefer, the old 2021 Yeet. And I feel like some of y'all can agree with me, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been some years. I probably turn him off 2022. Not gonna lie.
let me know. Now, another artist that was pretty big back in 2021 has to be SSG Kobe. And if you guys don't remember him, maybe this will jog your memory. But again, he was pretty tapped in with a lot of artists during this era. And I feel like a very underrated duo that not much people really talk about is him and Can Can. They sound amazing together. And at one point, they even had a small EP together. But to ask where
I heard he had like went to jail or something crazy. I don't know, but he was tough in
SSG Kobe is
2021.
now today, it's fair to say that he pretty much fell off. Which the main reason SSG Kobe started to fall off was back in 2022, he got some allegations of R-wording a girl, which they were later disproven, but the damage was already done to his career. His music career was basically tarnished by some false allegations, which nowadays he still makes some music, but he's nowhere near as big as he once was back in 2021. But it's good to know that this really didn't discourage him with making his music, now. But to me, it's always,
Wait, is that
pretty
him
sad to see
now?
someone go down to false allegations. It's good to know that this really didn't discourage him with making his music, now.
It can't
But to
be.
me, it's always, pretty sad to see someone go down to false allegations. Now, next person I have is Cash Dami. Now, this guy has totally fell off the face of the earth. And it's not even a question. This guy just totally fell off. You never
Bro, I used to think Cash Dami's dreads were so tough, but they did not age well over time. Like those high top dreads. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
hear this guy
Wasn't it?
mentioned in the Big 25. And to be honest, he might be deserved because his high top was atrocious, which no one should have this on their head, let alone witness
Christ.
it. Which, back on topic, I'm gonna keep it a bit short for Cash Dami because I already talked about him about like 2 times in 2 other videos. Go watch those if you haven't. But after 2021, people basically just got tired of his sound, and he wasn't really doing much evolution with his sound, over the past couple years, which led to his downfall. But nowadays he still makes music, not as much as he used to, but he still drops music consistently. Like he just dropped a 20-song album in September, which I'm not listening to, but is there. But nowadays he definitely still has, a fan base, but he's not nearly as big as he once was in 2021. But even though he fell off and his high top is kind of crazy, he's still a legendary figure in the underground scene. Don't get that mistaken. If you guys didn't know, he was one of the most poppin' underground artists during the 2021 era. Now next, I'm just gonna talk about overall the whole collective Slay world. They were in their prime in 2021, which I'm really just gonna get into Autumn, Summers, and Can Can. Which first we're gonna start off with Summers, which he had a banger 2021. He dropped What We Have and Nothing More, Nothing Less, all in 2021. Which is
I remember when he dropped Back to the Basics. I didn't understand it back then, but now when I listen to it, I know just what he's talking about.
as much as I love Summers' music, I don't think anything he dropped recently has topped this. These two projects were simply just masterpieces. But as of now, Summers is still underground, but he's still pretty known as
Low key, I'm just thinking about it. Like, what was up with all these underground rappers having like high top dreads? Because I remember Sofago had a high top for a little bit, but he also had a full head. He has one. Cash Dami had one.
as an artist overall. I feel like the only reason he's still pretty relevant because occasionally he'll drop, a banger and then just disappear for a while. But this year specifically, he's been experimenting with his sound a lot with R&B and just other different, sounds, which he still has a pretty big fan base, but he still hasn't really blew up. So that's really the state of where Summer's career is right now. But I'll definitely say that his music from 2021 is better than what he's doing now. Now, next person I have is going to be Autumn, which in 2021, Autumn had a legendary year, which the only album he dropped this year was Golden Child, but what really blew him up was his singles and EPs this year. Which this catalog of songs is already legendary. He then later drops One Way, and this song was really the song of the year. Which I'm not even going to try to play a snippet of it because YouTube just be on my behind. But overall, Summers had a pretty good, year in 2021. And nowadays, he's still pretty successful with his music. A lot of people like to say he fell off, but the views are saying a whole different thing. Which I feel like a lot of underground fans tend to say that he fell off just because we don't really listen to him anymore. But I'll definitely say he's still striving. The only problem I have with Autumn in the upcoming 2026 year is that this guy nostalgia farms with his own music way too much. Like example A, he had this hit song back in 2020 named Still the Same. Now why in 2025 there is Still the Same 3 now? And
So he basically just glazes himself to the max. Note taking.
he really does this with a lot of other songs. Like why in the world is there a One Way 3? I can just imagine Autumn fans being up in joy once they see him drop a 5th version of One Way. Like Autumn, the original was amazing, but you can slow down on all those recreations because I don't know who in the world is asking for a 3rd version of the same damn song. It's obvious you're just farming for nostalgia. Which then we have Can Can, which he was also a really big artist back in 2021. He had classics under his belt during this year like Woke
I'm not gonna lie, I never listened to him. I always heard about him though.
Up, None to Me. In the Really Rich album, this album was also pretty good. Had Yeet on
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, high tops in 2021 were like undefeated.
it too. But Can Can was one of the faces of the underground. He was the blueprint at one point. But as of now, where his career is, 5 years after him blowing up back in 2021, he's damn near nowhere to be seen. As after 2021, he basically stopped dropping music as a whole. Like in a time span of 4 years, we only got 2 EPs and a couple samples. It was truly just a tragic time to be a Can Can fan after 2021. But as of present time, it seems like he's trying to revive his music career as he just dropped
Bro, where is Sofago? We're 6 minutes deep into this video.
the album, a month ago. So it seems like now he's trying to put some effort into it. R is Red from 2021 just ran out. But I cannot forget, Baby Santana, because he was really running laps in underground back in 2021. When he dropped Antisocial, it was really a time you had to be there to experience it all. And till this day, it's still one of the biggest songs on.
Yo, I can't even remember who dropped that one song. It goes like, "I'm only 14." She told him I'm 14. That's when give me a Grammy. That stuff was
All
fire.
his platforms. Which in the same year he also dropped Antisocial 2, which also went as hard. But as of now in 2025, I'll say he's still in the same position as someone like Summers, where they're drop bangers occasionally, to keep their name relevant, but they're not really, bouncing out the underground. As right now they're kind of just stuck in the underground scene. But overall, the lesson you should learn from this video is that it doesn't matter how fast you run, but how far are you willing to go. But chat, really think about that. But that's all I gotta say for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you like, sub, and I appreciate everyone that came and watched this video to the end.
I mean,
And I am gone.
I'm a little upset. Like, so Fago honestly should have been on this 2021 Prime nostalgic underground rapper list. Cause he was, bro, I'm telling you, bro. So Fago he was carrying it for me. Shoot. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that video. I sort of enjoyed it. I'm kind of mad so Fago wasn't on there, but anyway, but we out.